Hi, everybody. Hello.
Hey everyone, how are you? Welcome to Tarot for Today.
Divine Dabblings.
Hey, I was going to say that.
We were going to say it together.
Okay, Divine
Divine
Dabblings
Dabblings.
with
Oberon.
and Banshee. Welcome
Welcome.
everybody.
This is our Thursday night live stream broadcast. We thank everyone for showing up. Hopefully more will show up. And let's...
It's interesting because I can't get my thing to go on my tablet.
There's a delay, Barb.
Oh, is that what it is?
Stop that.
I'm trying. Okay. Well, anyway,
Well, maybe.
we are here. I see the chat, if nothing else.
Hi, Smiling
I
Soul.
could probably go out and go back in, and maybe I shall do that while we're talking here. Well, you caught me. I was reading cards for myself. I laid out a Lenormand reading here because I wanted to check on something. All looks pretty good, actually. All looks pretty good. Money, well-being, some obstacles I'm going to find out some news about. There's always something. And some friends maybe to help me out along the way.
So for those who may be new here, we are Oberon and Banshee, and we have been doing tarot card readings for many years. We have a combined experience of over 85 years. We've read for probably hundreds, if not maybe even over 1,000 people over the course of our lifetime.
I noticed you keep changing those numbers.
Over 85 is still the valid. It's not a lie.
It's true. It's actually
I
really
just like
88
rounding to increments
years.
of 5, that's all.
And I cringe at that because I'm not ancient. Well, anyway, what's this over here?
I don't know. Whatever it is, it's not really on camera, so maybe you should
Maybe you
wait.
should change the camera angle.
Goodness gracious.
It's a scary Halloweeny divination tool I found at a retail store locally. It's kind of silly and kind of scary. It's got a creepy voice. You ready? Go for it.
The lesser of two evils is still evil.
Okay, fortune telling device. It's a little early for the presidential election commentary.
It said the lesser of two evils is still evil.
Well, that's always been my thought.
It's really kind of corny. I thought I'd bring it out. I look for these kinds of silly devices wherever I can find them. So you never know where you'll get your knowledge from. Although this one, I think, is more a warning for warnings than anything else.
So we decided to take our show to a live stream after many years of doing tarot readings for the multitudes that we did. We used to go to block club parties and read for benefits, and we read for many, many friends over many years at various parties, other events. We've done benefit charities for HIV awareness and for other situations. And now we've decided, as we approach those autumn years, that we want to kind of do this now and reach an
Yes, yes,
even
indeed.
greater audience. And how was the work week? Well, so far, I guess I'm glad that tomorrow's Friday.
Well, me too, except I got like a day-long meeting tomorrow. So every so often I can take breaks and I can kind of sneak in a little Twitter activity or something. That's not going to be the case tomorrow. I'm on some heavy-duty committee and we're doing some serious work tomorrow. So I am going to be busy probably most of the day. You won't even be able to get a hold of me much of the day tomorrow, Mr. O.
No?
No. But hey, how about we pull one of our rune leaves? We've got our rune leaves back here again, these little things that I created with runes inscribed on them. And I thought you pulled the last one. I
probably did.
will go to the bottom of the bin here and pull one out for all of us. Oh, that's a very good one to have. And it's upright. And one of the cats has appeared. I don't know if he'll be on Oh, there's his tail on camera. I saw. I
I'm
have
keeping
a
him out of the camera.
I have a little delay on mine.
Me
Anyway,
too.
perhaps you want to show that?
Alrighty, it looks like a reverse check mark.
Well, that actually, I believe, is
Orientation.
the correct orientation for that particular rune. And I'm looking at the interpretations that I put together, created, and I'm trying to find it. Sunny. It is called Lagus, which is flow. It's kind of like go with the flow sort of rune. The element is water. No surprise there since it's about flow. And you can use it for, meditations and affirmation work, for intuition, imagination, female empowerment, increasing vitality for women. And the interpretation of this rune upright is to immerse yourself into a project or a relationship. There's emotional satisfaction, psychism, spiritual studies, cleansing of the body or the mind, rethinking, reorganizing, attuning to rhythms, success in learning. A supportive woman also could enter your life. So those are some of the meanings that I put together for this particular rune. So keep that in mind in the week ahead. And just something for fall that I do. Every fall I bring out my rune leaves.
So, Banshee, what else are we going to do in tonight's show?
Well, we've got a few things. First off, it's my reading night. So we'll be
for
doing
the week.
Yeah, we'll be
Both
doing
Oberon and Banshee, and I talk about ourselves in third person, perform weekly readings. Banshee does hers on Thursday nights. I do mine on Sunday afternoons. And they are basically 3 or 4 card readings that tell us about our week ahead.
Yes. And so basically, there's that. We're also going to do readings for people, of course. I brought out a couple of things to show that might be of interest to some of our audience. There's been a lot of talk lately on our live stream about, omens of maybe some of the things we see, the animals that may cross our paths. Particularly, we were talking about birds. Now, I have a lot of animal decks and toys that I can bring out someday, but I don't have many bird decks, but I have a couple really nice ones, so I thought I'd bring them out today to show. And Smiling Soul, you had mentioned something to me about an encounter with butterflies and a dragonfly, correct? So I brought down my medicine card book, and I just happened to look up dragonflies there because I'm pretty convinced about butterflies is really, in most interpretations, is about change and transformation because, of course, the butterfly changes from a caterpillar to a butterfly. So really, they are talking about some major transformation there. Well, a dragonfly kind of fits into that too from what I see in Jamie Sams's medicine cards book. And the dragonfly sometimes is about eliminating illusions or seeing through illusions. And that also means false beliefs that you yourself may have, maybe, and you realize maybe all this time you've been wrong about something. So you're seeing finally through the illusions, maybe about things you do, the way you treat yourself. It talks about eliminating bad habits on a psychological level. It talks about breaking down illusions that restrict your actions or ideas. And it says that dragonfly is the essence of the winds of change, which Smiling Soul, that fits right in with the butterfly motif as well. So I would think with you seeing both of those things that must mean some major transformations are about to take place for you, maybe up and coming. I didn't tell Oberon this, and I should have, but the last few days, today was another one, and Monday was the other one when I got some interesting news that affects me. Actually, it was Tuesday. So it's Tuesday, and today I ended up having a hawk cross my path. Now, the first time, and I take it back, it was Wednesday and Thursday, so 2 days in a row. So Wednesday, it happened to me where somebody wanted me to do an interview, possibly. Well, the hawk was like flying right over my car and it was pretty low. I got to see a good look at this hawk, in particular before I entered the freeway on the way to work. And today I was on the freeway on the way to work and there was another hawk flying right overhead and it flew right over my car, but it was higher. But I'm like, geez, what is this? What is this trying to tell me? But I do think something's up, and I do think it must be work related because it keeps coming to me on my way to work, except the one we saw when we went to your mom's house on the weekend. See, so there's been 3 hawks crossing my path.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And it looks like Smiling Soul has had a upfront and personal encounter with the dragonfly, too.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Right, which is what I just talked about with the butterfly and the dragonfly. Yeah. Well, it is very interesting, Smiling Soul. And like I said, keep yourself open. I think change is a coming and just be ready for it. Sometimes change can knock us off our feet. Don't let that happen.
Should I just pull a card real quick for the dragonfly she saw?
Sure, why not?
Why not?
Why
So I'm
not?
going to pull a quick card just to see if the dragonfly had a message that isn't quite resonant there,
excuse
and
me.
we'll see if it happens. Hi, Laura.
Hello, Laura. Welcome.
And the card I pulled is the Five of Cups, and it was upright. And the Five of Cups tells us that when we think things are gone, they may not all be gone. When we feel disillusioned and bitter about what we've lost, we still have something. And so that's for you or your friend to realize that there are still some things there. You may have to think about it, ponder it.
I'm thinking about this too, that, there are all these spilled cups, and maybe the change that is coming your way that Dragonfly is trying to tell you is don't dwell on the losses of the past. Think about the future and the cups that are awaiting you there. And actually, maybe right now in your present, there are cups waiting for you there to be, indulged in. And, you just have to keep your eye on that as opposed to maybe thinking about things that you may have lost or, have been issues for you in the past. Well, Laura, we had this funny, silly little toy here. Do you want to do it one more time for Laura now? I won't
Laura,
make you
don't know
do
if
it
you were
all
here.
night.
Yeah, I know. She's just really into this stuff here. But
Very
with the
kitschy.
Halloween season, we have brought out an old friend. He's pretty old. Look at that.
Keep your plans secret for now.
Keep your plans secret for now.
Everybody heard that, I'm sure.
All right. Well, do we want to do the
Yes.
reading of the week, or do we want to see if Laura or Smiling Soul need a quick reading for us? I think Laura was here last time, and we never got around to you, so I'm not sure what happened. But what's up, Laura?
So funny. Yep, it is. I love little things like this. I always look for cute little, and it's really funny. It's a Halloween decoration. It's meant to be scary, but it's also giving fortunes of sorts or warnings. So it's very cool. Of course, I would like something like that.
And for our viewing audience, and I see we have a few others showing up, our normal assistant cat, Sunman, Sunny is here. He comes and goes, so it looks like he's getting ready to hop off the table.
And hopefully not take our lights with him. Looks good so far.
Well, let's go ahead and do the weekly reading, I guess.
Oh, okay. Why don't we start with that?
Yeah, we're going to start with our weekly reading, and then we'll see who needs a reading
Sure.
elsewhere. So this reading, Laura saw a dragonfly
no
too.
kidding.
Wow, and depending on where you live in the world, this is probably almost the last hurrah, at least in our area, for dragonflies, because our weathers have cooled down a lot. We're here in Michigan area, and we're definitely getting some cool nights.
Hawk represents focus, strength, and poise, can show you your hidden abilities. Yeah, Laura, I was talking about the fact that Hawk has crossed my path 3 times very recently. 2 days in a row and on the weekend. And so I know something is up. It could also mean leadership things. And oh man, I'm hoping to retire soon. I really don't need another leadership role. But then again, I hope nobody at work is listening because maybe that's not a good thing to say. But really, I'm hoping it's not that. But, as far as strength and poise and hidden abilities, yes.
We often feel that sometimes between ourselves or between ourselves and our situations or maybe between some of the folks who visit us that there is a synergy between a lot of things. And we're not saying that we had anything to do with people seeing the dragonfly, but we do think it's a weird...
Let's talk a minute before we do this.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Well, just that there's a synergy about omens sometimes, and sometimes
Yes.
More than one person will see them. They may not necessarily mean the same thing to each person.
But if you see something more than once like that, the more you see it, the more I think a message is trying to come through.
I believe that.
So we need to keep ourselves, our eyes on that. And so, yeah, basically, Laura, the dragonfly I mentioned to Smiling Soul, did you catch what I said about that? That it's about dispelling illusion and...
Laura says she just came in when we were talking about dragon.
Oh, okay. So if you caught all that, great. So very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right, Smiling Soul. They should be heading out of our neck of the woods, too. I mean, the hummingbirds are long gone that are usually outside my library. What's really cool is that my boss puts a feeder. She's lucky to have a windowed office, and she puts a hummingbird feeder on her window. And so every time I go see her in the summer, I get to see all the hummingbirds lighting there and flapping. They never stop moving, and they take their little drinks of nectar, and it's so awesome. They're really cool. But hummingbirds can be very mean with each other, is what I've been told.
Okay, I have shuffled them, and now I am gonna cut. Is that correct, Banshee, or do you want to cut?
I was just going to say to you, I may have problems seeing the chat today because for some reason...
Alice is with us again.
Hello, Alice.
Hi, Alice.
I have something to show you later. Stay tuned. But the light is totally giving me a blind spot in my eyes.
Okay,
so...
I'm going to try to adjust that.
Yeah, I'm sorry about
just
that.
Get up for a moment and
Oh,
see.
no, Sonny. He wants to get on the microphone. He was kind of hugging the microphone there.
Oberon has left the building. Not really.
Oh, no, it's an empty chair.
Okay, let's see what I can do here.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it's doing that for me, but
Does that help at all?
yeah, that's better, I
Is
think.
it?
Because when I'm looking at the camera, I was looking right at the light before. I think that's what it was. Just a little technical adjustment, not even a difficulty.
How do you look on camera?
Oh, and guess what? I just shuffled again, so I'll have to cut again. How do I look on camera? Well, I don't
I
know.
mean, do you look light enough?
I think I do. As soon as my eyes readjust, I'll know for sure.
I guess it was a bad day to fire our producer, eh?
Oh,
Okay.
no, we did not fire our producer.
No, we did not.
He's on to other things, which is good. And actually, Oberon, I have to say today, really had everything up and running really smoothly. So very proud of him learning all of this stuff, and I'm going to learn it from him.
I'm thinking of that song.
Yes, our cat is an adorable one.
Except when he's in the way.
All right? Oh, except when he's in the way.
Okay, so we are about to begin the weekly reading. Oh. You guys didn't see
Okay,
that.
this
but that
is
was cute.
awesome. This was totally awesome. He picked a rune leaf. He pulled out a leaf from my rune bowl.
The blank one?
Yes, he pulled the blank rune, which is the unknowable. And it's kind of like things are a blank slate right now. You know, you can paint your canvas.
Oh, Sonny, are you unknowable? Are you a noble?
Yes,
Here,
yes, he is. That's
have a
so
little
typical
leaf.
of a cat. Don't give him my leaf. You.
It'll build character.
That was so awesome. Oh my gosh. Well, anyway.
Okay, so let's begin the reading for the week.
Sure. So, the first card is about our physical, mental, spiritual, emotional health and well being. Let's see what we have. Oh. Thankfully, it is reversed because what have I always said about the Ten of Swords? If you got to get the Ten of Swords,
It
at
should be reversed.
least get it reversed.
So here is the Ten of Swords reversed.
I'll let you go.
Okay, and this is
It's physical, spiritual, mental, emotional well being.
all of those?
Yeah.
Okay, well, right now it looks like some of us will be turning a major corner on any of our relations in those realms, even in the spiritual realm, that may seem adversarial. That if you find that you have certain enemies right now or certain people who are disagreeable and maybe you're vying with them, you're going to find the energy, the plan, the support you need to kind of move them aside, topple them over a little bit, and just kind of move ahead and not let them disrupt your plans. So that's pretty cool.
I kind of feel also this card might be indicating that, some nagging chronic, health issues, maybe some of a chronic variety will ease up on you, on people a little bit. Also that maybe these things that you're dealing with, these adversarial things, the fighting is going on within you. If you have been going through some emotional battle and upheaval within yourself, waters are going to calm a little bit now. The fight is over. Okay, so things are going to calm down. You're going to feel a little bit emotionally and more spiritually settled. And physically, there'll be less a toll taken on you because of that.
And we have someone else, Vishali. Hi
Vishali,
to
welcome.
you. Welcome.
Welcome, and we're doing a reading for the week ahead for everybody. And I just covered our health and well being, mentally, physically, spiritually, for the week ahead. And I'm moving into it's the workplace and finances or education. And that's another 10, interestingly enough. It's the 10 of Wands, and it's upright. And now, what I would say about the Ten of Wands, unlike the Ten of Swords, is that if you're going to get the Ten of Wands, actually, it's the same thing. You probably want it reversed as well. Yeah, because what it means upright is that we're going to be feeling a little overburdened at work with maybe at school. Studies are heating up now, and you're into full gear, and you're kind of feeling like you're carrying an oppressive load right now.
Okay, Vishali, we can get to your question in a minute or two. I hope you can hold on.
Yeah, we will definitely help you, but we'll just finish up this reading. We have 2 more cards to pull.
Okay, go ahead. The only thing I see with this, my own interpretation, is that I often look at cards that are the same numbered, the 10 of Wands, the 10 of Swords, and when they're reversed, they sort of feel like they bookend each other in a way, that they're kind of like there's a relationship there. It should be this way, I guess. So I'm not really sure, because the one, of course, means overthrowing things, but the other one sort of sounds like limitations. So maybe that some limitations. And what was this position?
Well, remember, it's specifically with work and education and financial matters,
and this
things
is
of that
saying what
nature.
Banshee said pretty much, which is that there are some limitations there, is how I would look at that.
Right.
That are meant to be overcome, hopefully.
I feel it's an oppressive load. And with our family and friends and coworkers, like interpersonal relationships, very nice. That is the Ace of Cups, or coins, upright. And the Ace of Coins is the beginning of something very fruitful and positive. Maybe some new relationships that will be very positive and inspiring. Creativity and growth for you will be developed during this week ahead.
I see something new happening. It is a new project. Maybe some of us will be thinking that there are other things they can do to make money. It is also possible, too, that I see some people finalizing new employment or new situations that are about their prosperity and their financial situation.
And the final card is the focus for the week ahead.
Oh.
Very nice. That is the Queen of Cups upright. And so it seems to me the focus in the week ahead is with things related to emotional matters, wouldn't you say? And possibly some creative pursuits as well.
There's a bit of creativity suggested with this card.
Dreams.
There's a bit of seeking pleasure in various forms. There's something about really finding a sense of serenity and calmness, so that I think that no matter what's going on with these things, the adversarial things, the work limitation things, we're carrying ourselves with a sense of serenity and calmness. And we're also using our imagination, because our imagination may be the key to helping us with some of those situations. Hello, Sunman, you're back again. It is a special week. Yes, it's about time we got some upright cards here. Thank you for noticing that, Ellis.
We're beginning to wonder, because really our daily readings are still more often than not reversed cards.
So let's
before I
shoot
get
to the readings.
Before
Or
I
no?
get to Vaishali's reading, just one more thing, because I have something in mind for you, Vaishali. Just give me a minute. I want to draw a couple more cards here from my Lenormand for the reading I just pulled. Okay, good luck. Some news of good luck. It's the Rider and the Clover
Are
in the
these for that
week ahead.
reading?
Yes, this is for my weekly reading for everybody.
The last part of her reading also embroiders some Lenormand cards. And what was that first one there?
That's the Clover,
The Clover, and then
the Rider.
the Rider. So how do you
Well,
see
that's good luck. News of good luck coming to you. Some news you receive will either bring you good luck or will tell you about some good luck. Maybe you have won something. Oh, gee, I can only hope it's the lottery.
those? So the next week looks really good, actually.
Yes,
then, is
very
what it's saying.
positive.
It's like there are some issues to think about or ponder, but basically most things are really full speed ahead.
We should be able
Watch
to get
for the luck.
through that oppressiveness in our work lives, you know. It will pass. Okay, Vaishali, you are concerned about health issues, mental health issues. You seem to be under a lot of stress, you have said. So what I think I want to do, Oberon, unless you have an idea, is I have a spread here that's oftentimes when we're under stress, you know, it affects our physical, mental, and emotional well-being as well. So I have a spread here, a 3-card spread that's the state of my physical health, state of my emotional health at present, and state of my spiritual health. What I want to do is I want to do state of my physical health and emotional health together, and then I want to do spiritual health, and then the mental health as last.
Okay.
Well, actually, no, I take it back. Never mind. I'm sorry. Let's do state of mental health, and then state of emotional and spiritual health, and where things are heading for Vaishali. Let's do it that
so
way.
we're doing mental.
That
okay.
makes more sense.
Alrighty.
Okay. And Vaishali, I was looking at some 3-card spreads that I created. I have a template here for a number of spreads that we do free for people, 3-card. And so we'll try this.
Yes,
and sometimes,
Laura, we'll get you a reading too. Don't worry. We will read for everybody that's here tonight. We're pretty sure.
Oh, absolutely. And sometimes we improvise our readings as well. It just depends. I'll let you shuffle.
We don't always, try to... We do try to follow order, but sometimes, we just feel like maybe we're going to do somebody first just because there seems to be a need to do that. So hopefully nobody will mind. We're going to be there for everybody. And I'm shuffling too. And Vaishali, I want you to think just about your stress in general as we're doing this. Just have that thought out there in the ether. You're welcome, Laura.
Did you cut them or you want me? I'll cut
Go
them.
ahead and cut them, and then I will complete the cut, and then you can pull to read.
All right.
So the first card was going to be the mental.
Yeah. And, well, yeah, it was the mental and emotional health right now.
We have the Page of Cups. And the Page of Cups does sort of fit into the realm of emotionality.
Actually, I take it back. It's spiritual and emotional. We're saving the mental for the middle.
Right. So
Sorry.
so this card does have connotations for both spiritual and mental.
Emotional.
Emotional, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Make up your mind.
I did.
Spiritual and emotional?
Yes, because mental was the middle one and then where it's leading.
Okay.
Sorry.
So this card is the card of somebody who has a poetic and mystical nature. They're somebody who
Very sensitive.
they're very sensitive, but they may be intuitive or they may just pick up feelings and run with their interpretations. They are looking for a sense of serenity and calmness, like most of us, of course. Anything else?
Also, it's somebody who may be having some very interesting dreams right now that they should be paying attention to. Maybe some of the answers you seek may come to you in the form of a dream or a message of some sort.
Some people say they never dream or they never remember their dreams, but we can program ourselves to remember our dreams. One way to do that sometimes, and maybe this would work for you, Vishali, I'm not sure, is sometimes people put a notepad or some paper and a pen near their bed area, and that is sending a message to your subconscious that you are interested in remembering your dreams. And what you should do is, if you remember anything, you should just immediately write it down. What are you doing, Sunman? Sunman is making us nervous because he's
I seriously
off
don't
camera.
know what he ate, but it was probably just some hair. Okay, so
You
now
say
as,
we're right. Okay, very good. Thank you.
so now as far as your mental well-being goes right now, there is a little bit of rockiness surrounding you right now. I see this with the Wheel of Fortune reversed. It's kind of like, sometimes the Wheel of Fortune is all about life's up and downs, the ebb and flow, the changing seasons, timing, karma. There's so many things associated with the Wheel of Fortune, but it is reversed. And what it's saying right now is things are on kind of the downward swing for you, and you're feeling that. Yeah, it may be playing into why you are feeling stressed right now. The things you feel haven't been going your way or haven't been right in your life right now. But you have to remember that life is a cycle and you will get through this. You have to kind of sometimes go with that flow and see it through its conclusion. And remember, where the wheel swings down, the wheel always comes back up again.
Right. It's a wheel. It turns around. And I'm feeling, for me, what this card is telling us is that maybe too also you have felt that you have experienced some bad luck, or that you are thinking you are in a bad luck cycle. So that is the mental aspect, is that you're thinking that.
He said something went wrong with the video. Do you have it back, Vishali? Hi, everybody. Are you seeing us?
Okay, it looks like we're still broadcasting.
Okay. All right. Okay, very good.
Occasionally people have some glitches or slowdowns. I'm not sure. We're looking at the messages, but you're seeing us. Okay.
Okay, great.
So what I was trying to say, though, is from the mental point of view, Vishali, you may be over-processing what you feel is bad luck, or maybe you are reflecting on the bad luck that you have possibly felt you've come across. And like Banshee said, it really is good to remember that life is a cycle and that these things never really last forever. I'm almost positive that at some point very soon the wheel will turn around, and then you will be in a better frame of mind on that luck issue.
And the final card is where things are headed for you, as far as your health and well-being, your mental health and well-being goes. Interesting. It is the Two of Swords. Let me put it to you this way. I don't see things getting any worse. Let me just say that right off the bat. But things might stay a little bit as they are for a while. Would you say that?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a little bit of a holding pattern here. I'm not really sure if you are going to need to talk to any sort of professional about your stress or the situation. You may not need to do that, but I think that even if you did, I think they would probably counsel you to kind of just try to remain in position and not necessarily make any big changes. Don't find yourself just trying to go out and make change for the sake of change. I also think, too, that there's a possibility that maybe some of what the stress is about is there are things you feel you don't have the control over. You feel like things are balanced, but you're not really seeing how you can advance things any further. You may also be feeling that there is information you need that you're not getting, and that this information would help you make other choices or find avenues or roads to move yourself to.
Yes. So let me just pull a couple of, Shelley, I'm going to pull a couple more cards for you from my Lenormand deck and see what they have to tell me. Okay. This is the key coupled with the stork. And that is the Pagan Lenormand deck I'm using. Also, we are using the Tarot of Dreams by Ciro Marchetti today. The Pagan Lenormand is a very nice deck, but what it's telling me, Vishali, is that maybe the key to breaking the cycle is to let something new into your life, to look for new opportunities or for growth and change. What does a stork bring, right? A baby, something new, new life.
Well,
so maybe there's some changes that you have to start thinking about making in order to break this cycle that you're in right now.
Right, and considering what you've just said, Vishali, I also feel too that it is possibly time to decide to make that break. I don't read these cards, the Lenormand. They're sort of a different card from tarot, but I get images and feelings from them. And the key can unlock, but it can also lock. So I'm thinking this is a way of saying to you that maybe you need to close that door with that person, or at least for now.
Can I see that a minute? I want to see one thing.
And that the other part of it is that when you close that door, another door opens. So therefore, maybe something else is waiting beyond that other door.
I'm thinking that the open door is, like he said, I do think you probably, maybe trust is broken and that's going to make it hard. So, hey, I'm not saying to rush into any other kind of friendship, partnership, relationship, whatever the case may be, but open the door to letting some type of change happen to you, whether it is a new hobby, whether it's something else to put your mind on right now till you're ready for a new relationship or partnership. But because of the way these things landed, I picked the key first and then the stork. I feel that the key is the change.
And Oberon is going to throw one last extra final card from his own tarot.
Extra final card.
And this one will be to say, what is the best course or direction that should be coming to you that you might want to pursue?
And then after that, we'll get to you, Laura.
And I pulled the Two of Wands reversed, which is not very good. It may be saying right now is more of a time for you to meditate within and not to expand outward as much. You need to process some of what's happened. I would consider talking to us more, talking to other friends or other people who might be able to give you some insight. But I am also feeling too that your movement is not necessarily going in the direction you thought. It may not be going in a bad direction. It's just maybe one you hadn't considered. So it may be that this opportunity is something really kind of different. And you'll have to look for that and evaluate that as it happens.
Well, I think what that card is telling me is that because it is a somewhat negative card, but considering the position he put it in, what was that position again?
It was reversed.
No,
It was just a pulled card.
Oh, I thought you pulled it for a focus, or you had something you said about it.
I pulled it as the indication or idea of what other direction might show up.
Okay, so I think in a sense it's saying that that out of this negativity that has happened to you, this broken trust, it's a time to rebuild. It's not a time that, and not rebuild that relationship per se. It's a time to pick up those pieces and move on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
Let's move on to Laura then.
And we hope we helped Vishali, and feel free to tune in again. Stay for the rest of the evening or tune in again. We live stream twice weekly.
And we thank you for your question.
Yes,
and yes, I'm going to
absolutely.
quickly show our schedule just for people that are watching. We are on Thursdays, like tonight, from 7 to 9, and then we're also on
Okay,
Sundays from 2
Laura.
to 4, and that is Eastern Standard Time. And we appreciate all of our folks out there in the chat, so we're very happy.
Okay,
Alice, you may be a cat if you wish.
I'm looking at Laura's question, and I just want to see if I have a spread that might be useful for that one.
We could do it as a yes or no,
We could indeed.
and then maybe backtrack to that if you feel.
Well,
Namaste.
let's do it.
This
We're
guy
gonna do-
turns into a puddle when we're here. He just melts into everything. He's very comfortable with us, Ellis. Yes, he's just like, we could just do anything to him and he wouldn't even care, I think.
First, we're going to start with a yes, no, Laura, and then I think we'll expand it from there. We just want
Okay,
to
so
see.
the question would seem to be, Laura is asking if there's stable, long-lasting love coming your way. Now, we don't say a time frame here, but generally this could be for approximately 3 to 6 months, maybe. What do you think?
Well, some of the
months?
cards
Couple
might
months?
indicate longer, but I would say 3 months for this.
Well, we think everyone is very sweet when they come to see us.
This cat
we love
has
that.
been challenging me today. He's been covering up my tablet. I can't see the chat. He's been eating my rune
You want me to
leaves.
cut or are you going to cut?
You can cut this time. I cut last time.
Okay, yes or no for Laura? Something loving and stable coming.
Okay, that's the first pile. That's 13.
I just somehow think that when we're doing things like meditating or reading cards, that some cats sort of gravitate to that energy. I can't really explain why that is, but maybe it's just because it's a calming energy or it just somehow nudges them in a certain way. Alrighty, so we did our finish here and we had 3 piles with only 1 ace. So this means maybe yes, but it's not looking very yes. It's looking like there's a smaller chance of yes.
Well, yes, I agree. But what could it be saying? First off, it may be indicating that no to a stable long-term relationship at this time, but there is a possibility that something could be happening, right, Oberon?
There is a possibility. We have a couple of cards also to consider. We have the 3 of Wands upright. And the 3 of Wands, to me, is always about a person who is receiving from their investment, that they decided to be patient and wait, that they put themselves out there, they invested. They actually did do something to invest in what their project was. And now the time is at hand where it looks like the ship is coming in, so to speak. Did you want to say anything?
I agree. Well, I also think that this could mean something is coming in to you. So that could mean a relationship of some sort is on the horizon.
Now, I'm getting a feeling I need to ask a question about the next card. It's the reverse 5 of Swords. And I'm just going to ask if there has been some attempt at, I won't say dating, I'll say more like just being in a social circle, fraternizing with friends, and maybe finding that to some degree you may be feeling that some of these friends don't always feel like your friend. Like maybe sometimes you wonder if there's a cruel edge to some of those folks, or if there's a competitive edge.
Some kind of game they're playing.
Yeah. Is it possible that some of these people might have influence towards or something to do with where you see yourself expanding to find another relationship? Would these be the naysayer kind of persons who would say, oh, you don't want that person, or you don't want anybody, or you should do this instead? So I'm just wondering if there is a social value there that just kind of sends contrary messages that you shouldn't be hearing, or that just are seeding you with a little bit of doubt. So maybe you might want to back off on people like that and think more positively. If you were thinking that there were people you could meet through those people, maybe, but I'm not really picking that up a whole lot. Did you want to say anything about that one, the Five of Swords reversed?
Five of Swords reversed is always a difficult card for me.
It is.
And I'm not really sure if this is indicating even the kind of person that might be coming into your sphere, wanting a relationship with you. In other words, maybe a relationship with this person will seem good in the beginning, but that's why it's not going to be a long-term relationship.
Well,
because they have issues.
If you were suggesting that the doubtfulness or the contrariness comes from yourself, I'm not really feeling that. I'm feeling that's from something external. So maybe if these folks aren't really present in your life, or there's not many of them, you're just going to have to maybe do a little detective work, or try to put your feelings out there, or ask some questions. Maybe you have to just be upfront and ask somebody, hey, do you think that I'm wasting my time, trying to date this person or trying to meet that person? And what span you got here with the Lenormand?
Well, this one's a little bit challenging for me because to me, it's not always something that I would think of in a relationship question, these two cards coming together. But I'm going to go on my intuitive, I'm going to take an intuitive stab at it here. So I'll let you show the cards. One is the cross, which of course is the crossing, which sometimes means death and, endings, things like that. The other one is Tower, which is like an institution, like maybe places you work at, a governmental body, things of that nature. But I'm going to look at this a little bit differently, relating it to your question, and say that I think you have to put an end to maybe, have you been in kind of a mode of isolating yourself, or maybe not open to the possibility of relationships lately? Are you just finally coming around to that? Because this is, to me, if I look at this together, I think it's the end of something that's isolating you. Being up in your ivory tower and things like that, like Rapunzel up in a tower.
And I'm getting a little psychic glimmer here. And I'm actually wondering, in my psychic glimmer, I'm wondering if maybe not very long ago, but not super recently, there might have been a passing, and maybe you were at a funeral or at a memorial service, and maybe
not getting out much, she said.
Some of that might have served to give you a sense of isolation too, that maybe there's a sense of grief, or
there was the ending of something that put you in that cycle.
Maybe if it wasn't a physical death, maybe there was something that ended and has sort of contributed to this. But I get the feeling like that there is that sense of isolation, and that it might be connected to some deep thoughts that you're having about loss or sorrow, either over a specific person or in general. Okay, and you did kind of mention it earlier, I think, maybe. Mm-hmm. So we were going to do something else, possibly, right?
Possibly. I was thinking of maybe
Thank you.
Just one other quick 3 card for her.
Okay, I'll shuffle first this time.
How about we do this number 1, feeling about love relationships, the current situation, and if a new relationship is coming, or the next steps.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
And Laura said that I was apparently hitting some ideas there, so that's cool.
I think we all did, yep. It's because...
No, it was me.
No, it was me. Uh-oh. See what happens when you get 2 tarot readers?
Okay, so that's what I'm getting. So, um, well, I'm sorry about that.
Well, I sense that's probably why I did get that crossing card, Laura. That makes sense to me now.
Okay, so go ahead and shuffle and we'll cut and then we'll do this reading that is specifically about relationships. And thank you everybody who's hanging out. We have plenty of time to read for anyone else
And I
who's
know
there.
LS is here, and I have something if we have a break between readings, I have something I will share with everybody. A couple of tools I brought that actually
You're welcome, Laura.
LS and maybe Smiling Soul will be interested in. Okay, I am ready.
Okay, do
You want
the
me to cut? Oh, the cat is definitely presenting some challenges here today.
Alice says, oh yay.
You're welcome, Laura. Okay. Oh,
First one?
yes, the first one is the feelings about love and relationships at this time.
Six of Swords, reversed.
Is that the six? Yeah, it is.
Sometimes
Oh.
the Six of Swords reversed. I'm not sure if it's the idea that, what was the position again?
Oh, let me
Go
lay
ahead.
it out for you, Laura. Feelings about love and relationships. You have been taking it slow, have you not? You've been kind of biding your time a little bit after this last episode, perhaps ended sadly. And right now, it's just like you feel things are at a standstill. You definitely feel like you're not moving, like things are not moving, and maybe you're finally getting to the point of wanting that to change.
Well, mine is slightly different on that. I sort of feel like that there's also an additional thought here where maybe you're wondering if any sort of movement will advantage you, that you thought like, well, maybe I could move to another city or maybe my career could take me to this location, but deep inside you're not really so sure you feel that that will advantage you, so you're wondering what it is. You do want to move, okay. Well, the thing is that it may be that you
It's going
have
to
to
take
really
some time.
proceed carefully, because some of what that move involves will be saying that you're looking for something more pleasing, and what you'll see is you're going to really have to debate that within yourself and really weigh those issues on whether or not you find that that is the move that's worth your while.
The second position is the current situation right now. Oh, look at that.
I'll let you
Well,
go.
this is very
The Hermit
interesting.
reversed.
So maybe coming out of the cave that you've been keeping yourself in. But when you do that, you've got to be careful that and make sure that you're ready, to meet the challenges of new relationships and new things in your life. Don't, wisdom and things that, people have told you, people who've given you advice. Don't forget about that, because sometimes when we go and we start anew again, we tend to throw out all the the things we thought we should do differently this time. So try to remember any wisdom that you've had, and don't discard it when you do get out of your shell and move forward, because it does sound like presently that's where you're at. You're ready, you're gearing yourself up.
Yeah, I think so too. But I also think too that with the Hermit reverse, what I feel here is a little bit of a sense of being cautious about how much you want to portray yourself out there too. Like you've been burned, or you feel that the relationship was a downer the way it ended. You're gonna find you're gonna be a little cautious in how you move forward. The interest is there, but you've been hurt and you don't really want to
Yeah.
do that again. And you may be looking for clues that are external. You may not find that there's a wisdom or an intuition within yourself so much as that you feel like we were talking earlier, that there's going to be signs you may see outside yourself that will say, yes, the time is right, or yes, this is a person who may be approachable, or something like that.
Final card is where things are headed, or new relationships, or where things are headed. Okay, the Eight of Swords reversed.
This is actually good.
That's actually a good thing.
Okay, except it looks a little cold there where she's at. No clothing, but don't worry, we'll get to your question, Smiling Soul.
Yep.
The Eight of Swords for me seems to indicate that when it's reversed, that sometimes we were in a position where, like we've been talking, like you shared with us, Laura, you've been kind of holding yourself inward a little bit, or protecting yourself. And this card says it's the focus of the future.
Yeah, what's where things are headed, or if there's going to be a new relationship.
The way things are going is that you are going to be releasing yourself, and you are going to be venturing forth. You're going to be braver, try to take a step. Once again, just a caution to remember that not everything is still apparent to you, and that there still may be a few questions. But you are moving forward, and you're moving forward with a sense of bravery too. And finding that it is time really to venture out again.
Well, and what I would say to that is that you're venturing out again. I'm not necessarily seeing a firm idea that there's a new relationship per se, but you're going to be making some moves and changes to make that happen. And also, there is a caution with the Eight of Swords to just be sure,
Caution.
Yeah, the caution, just be sure of yourself and that you are really ready. You might have suffered some blow from this previous relationship, and you don't want that to affect in any way a new relationship that may be coming.
A lot of times in our societies, various societies, we all have these messages that are sent to us, and sometimes for women or for some people, the idea that they're not in a relationship seems to be a troubling message that society sends, because society wants to put you in a relationship, but it doesn't necessarily want what you want. So you have to see your way to what you want to do, and to not let others dictate that. Okay, and what do we have here with our Lenormand? The book, right? Is that
Yep,
the book?
that is correct.
And
That is the path,
and the path.
which to me,
They're very similar.
well, yes and no. The path is about decisions and choices, and the book is about doing research and gaining knowledge. So, you're going to have to choose wisely, and in order to choose wisely, you're really going to need to get to know people before you make the wrong or right choice.
And I don't do Lenormand, but I sort of feel that the book says you're finding out things, that you're doing things and you're finding out things. And maybe it's because you start moving on the path again, that once you begin to take up movement again, some opportunities or some information presents itself. And it sort of ties in a little bit to the Eight of Swords, because the Eight of Swords said that maybe your first few steps are without really seeing a clear direction. But that's what the movement's about, is like looking for what is waiting for you.
Mm-hmm. Very good. He does not do bad for not reading the Lenormand.
Thank you, Banshee.
So that's what we have for you right now, Laura.
Feel free to drop back and tell us how things are going, or to ask us for other questions.
And
We appreciate our
Smiling
time with
Soul,
you.
what do you have for us today?
You wanted to show Ellis something too, don't forget that.
I do, but she had a question, so we'll take care of the
Go
question.
ahead, let's do Smiling Soul's question.
Because you never know who else will drop into the live stream later. You're welcome, Laura. Take
You're
care.
welcome. I met somebody, but I didn't, and he is a cop. Okay, that sounds a little twisted. Well,
Okay.
I don't know. Me and cops, I'm not sure I'm the best person to ask about that. I always
Is
seem
it
to
you-
find the cops that maybe are
What is it that
Not
you
my
want?
friend.
Now. What is it you want to know?
Was he flirting with me, or
Oh.
was it just in my head? Well, that's a definite yes or no, eh?
No, it actually could be a two-card spread with an outcome. So let's do
Ah.
flirting or what is it? Flirting or were you imagining it?
Do you want to use your deck again?
Do you want to use? Yeah,
No,
sure.
go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, we are using Cyril Marchetti's Tarot of Dreams today. This is one of the other decks that this
Blessings
is
to you, Laura. Thank you.
my former favorite deck. Now with his Tarot Grand Lux, I like that one better, but I figured I would go back to this one for a few times. And I might be bringing out some of my other decks soon to play around
And
with.
if you guys like haiku, you know, the ancient Japanese minimalistic kind of poetry,
That
me and
we
the
totally
Banshee,
destroy.
We have
No.
destroyed it, yeah. But we've been doing Halloween haiku for the month of October. So that's on both our Facebook page and our Twitter page. So if you need a little chuckle or laugh, drop in for that.
Sometimes very little, but sometimes them are pretty darn funny. Oh, so
Okay.
that's about.
That fell.
Yeah. Oh, he dropped a card. Okay, Smiling Soul. It seems like there's a lot of fire energy.
Did the man look like that? Did he look like that? Did he have one of those beards without the mustache? I don't like that look on
It's a
men.
lot of fire energy, I would say, out of this person.
Ooh, interesting.
Interesting.
That's an interesting thing there.
He's
It's sort of-
definitely,
could see why you might feel
it's
that way.
clear he's definitely an upright individual, and seems to be. But let's see, he dropped the card, so we'll see. So basically, we want to know if he was flirting, or was it just you thinking about that? I got it. Don't
Right.
worry.
Was he flirting or was he serious?
Was
Is
it,
that
no, flirting or all in her head?
flirting or in her head? Okay. So the Six of Cups reversed.
Can I see that one?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's the Four of Cups.
I knew it was the 4.
Well, was he flirting?
Was he flirting? Well, maybe.
Maybe not, because this is somebody who's making a choice, right? After
No,
consideration.
Yeah,
Four of
that's so not so much a choice, but I think finally doing
Movement.
something.
So
It's possible.
I'm getting the vibe that he was flirting, which doesn't mean that it was serious, but that I do think that he was flirting.
Now, was it all in her head?
Six of Wands. I'm not sure how I would interpret that.
The 6 of Wands is a victory of sorts, isn't it? Is that that's the
Yeah.
7 of
Whoops,
Wands.
I'm sorry.
You've got to watch it's right
You
there.
need a deck I can read.
Roman numerals.
Oh, I guess I don't like Roman numerals anymore. I don't know.
7.
The Seven of Wands in your head.
Well, it seems
Not
to me, I
necessarily.
know how to read this one. I feel that it makes me think you want to believe he was flirting with you. Is that true? Because that's the way it looks to me.
Well, he's supposed to call later on today about the incident.
Has nothing to do with me. Well, maybe he was just doing his job after all, because I do have to say that this card with the flirting, this first card, is about somebody who's getting back to the realm of activity and work and things that they have to get done. So I do think that that might indicate it could be business only, but I do feel like I can't give you a definite on this one. Should we do a yes, no?
We
to
should
clarify
probably,
it?
but usually people who have eyes like water may have strong Pisces energies in their chart. I've noticed people who have come from, a cultural or racial that don't normally have very light colored or watery looking eyes might have them. And then usually I find out that there's some water sign or they're Pisces or something like that. So it is kind of interesting.
We're going to do a yes, no on this, Smiling Soul, and see what comes up. And then I'll toss a couple Lenormand.
So we did take the about 12 minutes or so
Wait,
of our anniversary recreation of the first date, and that's in a separate YouTube that you can see at the YouTube site.
Do you want me to
it's
do
kinda
it?
funny. I busted his chops about his writing. I couldn't understand what it said, so I busted his chops about it, and we started laughing.
Shh, you want me to do it?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Wow, interesting that Ace of Swords popped up again. But we only had one ace on this one, so it's leaning towards no.
It's only a smaller chance of yes.
And there are some not so great cards to back that up either. Because you have the Nine of Cups reversed here, which means that however this turns out, it's not going to be what you wanted.
Yeah, and I get the feeling too that there's a sense of artifice here with this card, because normally it sort of involves pie in the sky kind of wishful dreaming thinking. And when it's reversed, of course, it sort of means like, well, that could happen, but what you would find would be it just doesn't really feel like it values for you at all. Like it's just not really what you really wanted after all. And then the final card we have is the Emperor reversed. And the Emperor reversed would say that, thank you, that is a nice card. The Emperor reversed, to me, always says that it's about people who are not necessarily in control of their authority, that their agency. And of course, I'm thinking whenever a cop's around, I don't have any agency. I have to listen to him and be nice and do what he says. So it could relate to that just really this...
Because he is an authority, and the Emperor
right,
is an authority.
This thing is maybe that it's really going to be all on him and that there's not really much you can do. Cops sort of are actors in a way too. They have to have
That's true.
a persona that maybe is not exactly what their personality is really like, because not only are they servants of the people, but they're also servants that have a higher distinction in a way because they are granted certain powers of authority.
It's not even just that. Remember, they have to get to the bottom of things. They have to ferret out information. And so sometimes they have to use a little bit of subterfuge, etc., to get that information. So, they may play nice sometimes. They may play, the good cop, bad cop thing comes into play. So, yeah, it's very interesting if you're dealing with them when they're on the job. Because are you seeing the real them, or are you seeing them, in their work persona?
I'm not sure if I understand that. They're usually not nice.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that's not just there, but yeah, that's a problem, that's reflective in society in general.
I don't want to be too much of a downer about cops, but I sort of feel that their mission is mostly about protecting property and the interests of people who own that property, and that everything else kind of falls into various priorities from there. So certainly when lives are at stake, that's the ultimate property, so they act pretty accordingly. But I'm not always sure that they're just there for us in the way that we think that they are.
It's really interesting because I drew the Tower again, and this time the Child. And all I can say is that I really feel there's not much to be had from this. The Child always indicates small things. And the Tower is like an institution, and it's not always a very positive card. So again, this is somebody who, this person is representing authority and the institution, and it seems to me he may be all about business, just trying to ferret
Yeah,
out
I'm
the
wondering if
information.
he sees himself as the Tower, this sort of sense of impregnability, and he sees you as a child comparatively to him. And I'm not saying because you are a child or you acted like a child, but just because I think that's just sort of the nature of authority, is that if you're in deference to them, then you're not at the same level at them, and that usually what that means is they think they're wiser, smarter, better, etc. And the easiest way to depict that, I suppose, is to objectify us as children compared to them. Yes, that was a little snarky, I suppose.
So that's what we've got for you there, Smiling Soul. Hope that helps a little bit. I think now that we're at the...
I'm going to address LS's thought about Dionysus.
Go ahead while I get my stuff together.
And to me, Dionysus is a really wonderful character in mythology, mostly because this is me. I sort of feel that a lot of the beings that are worshipped in mythology or thought of in mythology and or in the modern age of how we look at our religion and how we look at God or the concepts of God, and I sort of feel that many of them overlay with each other. You're welcome, Smiling Soul. Always glad to give you a reading, and thank you for being our devoted
Yes,
fan.
thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
being here again. Appreciate it.
But with Dionysus, I think some of his overlay with, say, for example, Jesus Christ is very clear that many of the stories about Dionysus that were written in the hundreds of years or even 1,000 years before Jesus Christ are so similar. And I just sort of feel that a lot of what happens is we build the template of the new religion on some of the concepts that we still like from an older religion. So that's all Dionysus is to me, is he's sort of like a Greek version of Jesus Christ in a way, maybe with less of that other stuff.
Okay. So, I know that we've been talking a lot about
Could be true.
our feathered friends lately, and some of the omens and things and messages that birds have to bring. And I just thought I'd share today a couple of decks that I have in relation to birds. This one is done by the late Ted Andrews, who is a very shamanistic writer, metaphysical writer, who did a lot of things with animals. He had a really wonderful animal tarot deck, and even though the animals are the cards themselves are just photographs of animals, he really aligned the energy of the animals well to the tarot. This is just an oracle deck he created with birds, and so... For example, I'm going to show a few. They are photographs again. His picture or his cards have the bird on it and a couple of words to describe it. Here is the peacock. And he's got birds from all over. And he also has some attributes of birds that they do as well. Like, for example, migration.
I have to interject because
I'm sure you do.
Ella says, "Oh yes, the birds." I'd be like, "Where's Alfred Hitchcock when you need him?"
It's not that kind of thing. They're not scary. Here's a sparrow. Trust in your own nobility, it says.
That's very cool.
And the chickadee is discover your truth. And oh, here, remember we saw cranes? It's not a sandhill crane.
So they are nice photographs. They're well put together. Very beautiful
And
photography.
he's so thoughtful in his interpretations. Like, for example, let's take a look at the chickadee, for example. Oh, wait, you know what? Let's look at my hawk. Remember, I have been seeing the hawk a lot. Let's see what he says about the hawk.
Didn't Smiling Soul or LSC Hawks too?
Yes, Smiling Soul, I believe, did once last time, I think. Or LS, somebody did, I do know. Okay, the hawk. The hawk is one of the most amazing raptors, which are universally recognized as guardians and messengers. Hawks spend 3/4 of their day perched somewhere, observing the area around them, searching to detect the subtlest of movements, patiently waiting until the best moment to strike. Because of this habit, the appearance of a hawk can forewarn us of possibilities for new ventures and possible trouble. Your own perceptions will be heightened through the coming weeks. Trust your perceptions at this time. So he gives you a lot of information about the bird itself and some of the symbology related to like their physical appearance, their talons, their beak, what they do, their behavior. And so then he says, Hawk's appearance always heralds a time of greater strength and vision, which will help us tremendously in our present endeavors. We will have protection in our journeys and endeavors. Now is the time to gallantly move forward.
So Ellis says they would like to have this deck, and I'm wondering, is it still in print?
You
Is
know,
it still
I really
available?
hope it is still in print. I would look around for it. It's very possible it's still around. It is called, like I said, it is called The Feathered Omens, and his name is Ted Andrews. And I wouldn't be surprised if this hasn't been republished because he was very popular, a very, very popular
Now,
author.
Ellis, I believe you've told us that you're overseas, so I don't know what your access over there is. You know, you could probably look at Amazon and see if
Yeah,
it's
online
available. It may
Amazon.
be expensive if it's not in print. If it is in print, it might be affordable. So you could check that out. If we do a little snooping around ourselves, we'll let you know on the next live stream.
But wait, LS, that's
There's
not
more.
all.
There's more.
Another deck that I think you might really be interested in as well. And I think this one's a little bit more current. Let me see if I have a year on this. I think, oh, here it is, Bird Signs. This one is called, let me have him show the box while I look for the publishing date. This one is actually from 2007, so maybe it has a better chance of being out there. It is called Bird Signs, and it's written by G.G. Carbone, Carbone, and it's illustrated by Mary Ruzicka, Ruzicka. And this deck is really beautiful. I'm just saying.
Let's see some.
Let's see some.
Oh,
This
look
deck,
at that.
too, also has things like attributes of the birds. Like there's one here that's just called Feather, and it's Enlightenment.
This is beautiful.
This card reminds me of the blank rune in the runes that I read. This one is called The Wild Bird, and it's about dreams. And notice how it's like blank. So,
It looks like my stomach empty. Okay, it doesn't.
here is a loon, and the loon is imagination. Look at the beautiful, beautiful drawings on this card. Here is one, the cardinal transformation.
Oh, that's very nice.
And here's a parrot. And you know, with all the colors that the parrot has, the parrot is all about creativity.
They are indeed beautiful.
And finally, I'll show another one, the egg, which is birth, of course. So there's a wide variety of birds here. And let me just, what did I do with it? My book. So basically what they do is they have interpretations in here for each one. They give a little bit of bird lore, and then they talk about the bird wisdom, which is the wisdom of the card if you get it upright. And if you get the card reversed, they call it the broken wing aspect of the card.
That's funny, Ellis.
And so it's things that you have
What
to
came
work on.
first?
Yeah, yeah.
The cards or the egg? Oh, wait, I don't think I have that quite right.
So they're really cool. And also she gave some really nice, I I think this is the deck. Let me see. Let me just make sure before I speak too soon. I think she gave some nice spreads, but nope, maybe not. This is actually one where you would just pull a card and gain wisdom just from one card pull. So it's like a daily guidance kind of spread, or as often as you want to do it, a card for the day or a card for the week, something like that. So these are a couple of the bird decks that I have, and I used to play with this one all the time. I just fell in love with it. And Ted Andrews' decks are very, very special too, because he has, being shamanistic and very much into the nature spirits and energy, he just had an affinity for animals and talking about their behavior and how it could relate to your life. It's pretty amazing
He's
stuff.
had many fine books, and some of them are constantly in print, so it might be easy to find the Feathered Omens deck because his works were so popular. He wrote Animal Speak, right?
Yes, he wrote Animals Speak, which is a book about, picking a totem animal, or, if you feel there's an animal you have an affinity with that seems to be around you all the time, what can you learn from that animal? What are you supposed to be learning from that animal? And that book kind of speaks to that.
That's an interesting thought, and I think that there probably are other oracle cards, Ellis, like that
Oh, yeah.
that take a particular aspect of life.
Well, I
And
have a
just
lot of
run with
decks
it.
that are about animals, whether they are oracle decks or tarot decks that are based on animal motifs. So maybe someday I'll do a special presentation on that. But, the birds have been coming up lately for all of us. And so that's why I thought I would showcase these today. And birds are considered messengers of sorts, really magically and
Yes.
in many ways. I know when you dream of birds, you're supposed to take that kind of seriously, as well as some messages coming to you.
Anthropologists and archaeologists, more maybe the anthropologists, have noticed that when they are doing excavation work with ancient humans, that they might find settlements from thousands of years ago, that they typically have found statuaries or other drawings or things where maybe there's bird figures involved, or maybe there are human figures with bird heads. And if you recall right, the Egyptians had a number of deities that looked like that too, that would have an animal or a bird head. Thoth comes to mind with his ibis kind of head, ibis, a bird that's native to that area. And I think that there's just always been some sort of relationship spiritually, mentally, whatever, between humans, especially developing humans, and the world they
Right.
shared with animals. Because animals, probably back then, this is just a spiritual observation that maybe because there were language barriers between people, there was not even always very developed language skills from person to person. These were other ways of communicating.
Well, if you ever think of it, let us know. I'd be curious to know which bird that is. But yes, and obviously here, a lot of countries use birds as a symbol of strength. We, of course, in America have the eagle, and that is a symbol of freedom in our country.
So, Smiling Soul, you saw Robin and then you went to Red Robin? Because you should have let me know. I would have went there with you. I haven't had a good Red Robin in a long time.
Oh, it's been a while since we went to one. Geez. That's funny. Very funny, Mr. O.
Thank you.
So yeah, that's the bird decks. And
Okay. I had this thought. I wanted to talk about something for a moment.
Sure.
Because remember when we were talking in between shows a month or so ago, and I had this idea about new ways to read the cards, like involving our audience, like saying how many times do we cut or which card do we pull. So I
Okay.
want to do a brief one with that right now, maybe.
What do you want to do?
Well, I think there's one person at least in the chat room that we have not done a reading for tonight. So if they wanted to do a reading, we would employ whoever else is here in the audience, and then we would say, okay, so then how many cards should we pull? That kind of thing. Do you remember the
Well,
concept?
that could be
A
risky.
group reading.
Within reason, how many
Right.
cards would
Well,
we pull?
we give them a parameter.
Or do you mean till we get to the card? Is that what you're saying?
No, let's say, for example, that we were reading for LS and I
Yes.
said, okay, Smiling Soul, pick a number between 1 and 10, and that will be the card that will be for LS.
So you'd count 10 cards. That's what I was
Yes,
trying to say.
yes. Okay, well, I
Okay.
misunderstood you.
Okay. Well,
So Smiling Soul did not go to Red Robin. But if you have Red Robins, I do recommend them. They have some awesome burgers. Okay, Ellis. So we haven't done a reading for you. I think I remember that. So if you're up for this experiment,
we'll
'cause
just
that's what
do
it
a
will be.
general pull for you. How about that?
And then if you need another reading after that, or to clarify, we'll go with that. But okay, so
And Smiling Soul, we are going to use you here.
yeah, we're gonna use Smiling Soul. Okay,
Oh, you do? Okay.
Ask us your question.
Or do you just want to keep it private
Or
and see
keep it
what comes
private.
up?
Either way, just let us know. And we're going to shuffle. And then when we're done shuffling, we're going to see if maybe Laura's
Okay.
still here or somebody else. And they can say,
Don't get too involved till you
okay,
get
we'll
to
just
that
go
point.
with the original idea.
Well, you
'cause-
could say it, but at the point you need it.
Yeah. Okay. Should you renew your contract when it ends, or is there something better for you?
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead and shuffle.
Okay.
Don't cut him.
I'm
Okay.
not.
So, Laura, if you're still there, Laura, how many times should we cut the deck? Should we cut it 2 times or 3 times? This is for LS's question. And if you're not there, then maybe we'll see if somebody else wants to do that, or we'll just do it randomly ourselves. So let's take a moment for that. It's possible that Laura moved on.
What about Smiling Soul?
Okay, we'll let Smiling Soul do this then. Smiling Soul, should we cut the deck into 2 piles or 3 piles for LS question? And then we're going to let you also tell us which card to pick. Okay, it may be that Laura left. I noticed that there
possible.
were 1 or 2 less people there. So we're going to wait and see if Smiling Soul will direct to us.
Or this might be the time we just let LS do it.
Okay.
It is her reading after
Smiling Soul says 3 times.
all. Okay, thank you, Smiling Soul. So we'll cut it 3 times.
Okay, now Smiling Soul, we're going to ask you again. We're going to want you to select a card between 1 and 7.
So what?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're going to
Pick a number.
Pick a number between 1 and 7, and that's the card that we will read for LS to see if it matches with her question, or if we can make it match. I know this could be really goofy, or maybe it could be really like, oh my God, they have
6.
powers.
She
You
said
wanna do it?
6. I will do it. Thank you, Smiling
Soul,
Soul.
for your participation. This is kind of exciting.
Oh,
Wow.
well,
Should I renew my contract when it ends, or is there something better out there for me? This is the card we pulled, the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is a person who has to make a decision. And the decision usually is pretty nuts and bolts. It's pretty much like no emotion is necessarily attached to it. So the advice here would be to say, don't think of this in terms of the emotional content of the choices, but think of it strictly in practical terms about this.
I would say that this card is indicating to me, LS, that this decision is completely in your hands. And also, it is what is in your best interests at this time, not the institutions, and maybe not even about what other opportunities might be out there, but what really is in your best interests at this time. And you're going to have to make that decision based on that. And it seems like you're in a strong position to make the right decision. Now, I think we should pull another card out of here, and I'm going to ask LS this time, what card between the numbers 1 and 10 should we pull for you?
I'm laughing at what you said, Ellis. But I know it's hard, but now you have to think of a number between 1 and 10 for us. And we will do one for you, Smiling Soul, because this is a little bit
Yes.
fun, isn't it? Okay, the 9th card. So I'm going to count them off.
Okay.
And this,
Is that it? That
that's
was
it.
mine?
This
Okay.
sort of adds texture or clarification.
Just pull it. We'll see. Yes, it does. Okay.
The Hermit reversed.
You know, it's really interesting to me is that you could get some bad advice here or somebody to want to sway you, and it may not be in your best interests. Because remember, you're the Queen of Swords here. You're the one in command. The Hermit reversed is saying that somebody is going to try to coerce you or sway you with bad information, and make sure that does not happen.
Yeah, I get the feeling that there is something about being misled in the energy of this card, or at the very least, it's a person who thinks they know better for you, but they don't really, and so they're sharing their advice, but it really isn't the right advice for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that means that the first card's qualities remain, which is that this really is something you have to do for yourself, and you have to try as hard as possible to separate some of the emotions surrounding the decision from it and think of it just strictly in the practical sense of the question, question A or answer A, answer B, that kind of thing. So I don't know, but if you think that was helpful, I hope it was.
Well, you know what? We could probably do a quick yes/no on that one too, just
Let's
to
do
be
that
sure.
real quick, and then we'll do Smiling Soul.
We'll try the same exercise with Smiling Soul.
Yeah, because that was actually fun.
That was fun.
And then this time we'll let LS assist us for Smiling
Well, thank you
Soul.
for indulging us with this little exercise because we thought it'd be something nice to engage our audience with. Especially if we have a small group, it would be kind of a fun thing to do. It might get crazy if there were a lot of people.
My personal feelings about a lot of tarot cards is that sometimes because the images and symbols are so universal that they're already in everybody's head, a collective unconscious, if you will. And so the idea that unconsciously people pulling things is an intuition at its very most basic. So we're doing the basic yes or no.
Yes, just to see if you should renew your contract, where the cards are leaning on that specifically.
Should LS remove, renew?
Are you dropping cards again?
I dropped one. 10 of Pentacles.
Seems as though you're pretty comfortable where you're at right now, I would say. Is that correct, LS? Did you cut them?
No.
Well, we're doing a yes/no, so.
You could have cut them.
Oh, I'm not going to. That was on you.
Well, fate is definitely choosing it for you, I think. And we'd like the viewing audience to know that, of course, cards are a snapshot in time and that we cannot necessarily say this is absolute goddess truth. However, what we did get for you, Ellis, is more likely yes than not.
That you should renew it, but I'm not sure here. There is the possibility that there is either another opportunity for you, or
Something does sort of seem to want to insert
insert
itself.
itself. Yeah. So maybe it's you eyeballing some other opportunities, but it's leaning towards yes, that it would be to your advantage to renew your contract. But I'm not ruling out the possibility that you shouldn't be at least taking a gander, taking a look at some other possibilities that may surface.
Does your contract or this position or situation, does this involve travel at all? Because I sort of getting the feeling like that maybe there's something travel or movement involved. What?
Or does this contract possibly keep you in the same position you're at, or is there a possibility for you to move up, like be promoted? Because that could be a move forward, a move up as
Yeah,
well.
it is sort of a sense I'm getting about that. That most likely it'll be yes, but that there may be some movement involved. So, who knows?
To eyeball some new opportunities. Well, definitely keep your eyes open.
Yeah.
Because I do think something's up here. I mean, I think it's obviously not a bad thing to renew your contract. In other words, it's not a bad place to be, but maybe there might be something better that could insert itself.
Well, I agree too, and I would just like to remind us that we had some laughs and giggles over the Queen of Swords, but to me that also says that really when you want to kind of hunker down and get serious and be, just about business, I believe you really can do that. I just feel that strongly. So you'll make the right decision no matter what it is.
Okay, so now let's try the same thing with Smiling Soul.
Okay, Smiling Soul, do you want to try phrasing that as a question at all? Or am I to go with the idea that basically you're wondering if you're going to be single for a while
Or
if
get
you
into a serious relationship.
So we're going to start shuffling that if you want to clarify that, or else we're going to go with that. And Sunman looks so serious over here. What's up, Sunman? What's up? What's up?
He's like, I'm not getting all the attention.
He says, I know that you guys are getting close to the end. We are in about our last 20-some minutes.
Yep.
But we really had a lot of fun tonight. I really liked all the readings and all the people that dropped in. Vashali and Ellis and Laura and, of course, Smiling Soul.
Yes.
We thank you all. I cut, right?
Oh, did you shuffle already?
I don't remember.
I don't think you did.
What did I say? Well, what I said was, do you want to clarify your question for us? I'm assuming that, you're welcome, Ellis. I'm assuming that it's about whether or not you're going to be single or whether you're going to find a serious relationship.
We just wanted to clarify that. Oh, we weren't supposed to cut them.
Why not? Why not?
Because we were doing the exercise.
Oh, okay. Shuffle them all over again. We're so automatic here. I'm thinking of that song by the Pointer Sisters. Automatic.
Not everybody knows
And then
that
somebody
song.
says, Oberon, can you sing tenor? 10 or 15 miles away?
Also, I want to remind everybody that Mercury, the planet Mercury, is going retrograde soon. Mercury, the planet, is always mischievous when it goes retrograde, causing all kinds of little bad things to happen.
Smiling Soul, this is what we're going to say your question is. Your question is basically you want to know if...
She says, yeah, I want a serious relationship.
Well, but look at just before that, how long you are going to be single. So the
Okay.
question is really is how long are you going to be single before a serious relationship?
Okay, that sounds
So, LS, don't laugh too much because we're going to put you to work now. We want you, LS, to tell us how many times we should cut the deck into 2, 3, or 4 piles. So it's up to you, Ellis. And remember, Smiling Soul's destiny
Fate is in your hands.
Is in your hands. Choose well.
Now you get to feel how we feel.
Four.
Okay,
Do you want to cut them?
I will. Well, yeah, I will. Why don't I do 2?
Always go
And
for
you
the
do
highest
2.
number.
You cut 2 piles.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, 1 pile.
But that's 4.
I know that's 4. Okay, so now there.
Oh, I thought I was going to get to do that.
Sorry.
Some of that. Okay, thank you, Ellis. That was very good.
But we're not done with you yet. Well, actually, no. On second thought, let's go to Smiling Soul now. Let's put some of the faith back in your hands. So, out of 1 to 15, pick a number.
Okay, you guys.
Smiling Soul, pick a number between 1 and 15. Da da da.
We're looking for the Jeopardy theme right now.
Da da da.
Smiling Soul, pick a number between 1 and 15.
Yeah, 1 and 15.
And that's going to be the card for LS.
No, it's for her.
Oh, for you.
My
I'm sorry. Whoops. No, LS can't help you. You have to pick the number.
Alice picked the cut, and you're going to pick the number. Okay,
8.
number 8. Good
All right,
number.
good number.
Well, we hope it is.
Well, we hope it is. Okay, so the question was, are you going to be single forever, or are you going to get into a serious relationship?
Whoa.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Here's what we got for you.
It's another queen.
The Queen of Pentacles.
We got LS got the Queen of Swords, and now Smiling Soul is getting the Queen of Pentacles. This is really interesting. And of course, the Queen of Pentacles is all about growth, fertility in a way. Obviously, things happening. So I do think that there is the possibility for some nurturing, supportive relationship to happen.
Well, I'm thinking that this card says you're going to have to create this relationship. And to some degree, that means that you're going to have to really decide how much you want the relationship and how much you're willing to
Yes.
put into it. Yes.
For the non-reversals.
But this is a card of the woman or the person who has abundant creative ideas and energies to make things flow. And so my thought is this is saying, Smiling Soul, you're going to be the person creating the relationship. And it's because you present yourself in the best possible terms to those persons who you're interested in. So you'll have to think about how you're presenting yourself. Are you being a queen, or are you being a nasty old knight or something like that? So
Now,
yes, maybe you have to flirt in the way that a queen would flirt, as Ellis is saying there.
can you get any timing off of that card at all? Or wait, you know what? Okay. Okay, LS, you're on again. I want you to pick a card between 1 and 15 now for Smiling Soul. Just relax and think of a number.
9 for sure.
9 for sure, my favorite number.
And what was this card to?
Well, this card's kind of to advance this. I think I was trying to think of timing in relation to this card. And
Okay.
I sense with the Pentacles, The Pentacles are a little bit of a slower card. So I'm thinking it might take into spring. It might take about 6 months for this to actually manifest, Smiling Soul. But look for something to change and shift within the next 6 months.
I also think, too, that the card provides a clue. A person who is charitable, like the card sort of shows, would also be possibly considered magnanimous. And when a person is magnanimous, that means that they sort of arise above some petty concerns here or there, and they always try to be their best possible person, or they try to be a person's big brother, big sister, or they try to be the kind mom or the kind dad, that kind of thing. And so I'm thinking that that represents a tact or tract for your way of mediating through this, that always just try to be a little bit more magnanimous and a little bit more giving to others. And so when others flirt with you, appreciate it maybe more in a universal sense than rather in the sense that it's leading to somewhere specific. I'm not saying to like blow it off, but just to sort of acknowledge it as an act of human kindness, maybe, and that by portraying kindness, which is a lot of what this card is about, this may make you ultimately more attractive to people.
That was fun. What did you think, guys?
Oh, 6 months. It'll go by in a minute. You know what? In a little over 6 months, I may be able to actually retire from my job. And I never thought this would happen.
Wait a minute. That's supposed to be me first.
Oh?
Yeah. Maybe we both will.
That was pretty cool. I thought so too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we will definitely try that again sometime. Just to give an idea of some things up and coming in the future.
What's 6 months if you've been single for 13 years?
Oh, gosh. Well, like forever. How about that? So I get it, and I do get it. And I want you to consider that even though I said it may take up to 6 months, that doesn't necessarily mean you won't meet this person sooner. It just may take a while before it all clicks. So that's what I'm thinking.
This happened, Ellis, because a month or so ago I was just thinking about ways to involve the audience more too, because we both have an abiding belief that all of us are psychic or intuitive in varying degrees, some of us more than others. And that basically when you go to the root of intuition, which is literally what pops into your head at a moment's notice. And so that's why we try to do that with the questions. When we ask you the question, we don't necessarily want you to think about it, well, 3, well, 4, well, 5. We want you just to sort of go with the flow of it and just whatever pops in your head. Whether we did that tonight doesn't really matter so much because this was from your intuition. You helped.
Yes.
So we're like shake and bake tarot, and you helped.
But he's right. And I've always said everybody has intuition, but some people use it more than others. And if you don't use it, it can get rusty. I know this. And so, I feel that intuition's a very helpful thing. It's not always right. That's not the point, but it can be very helpful, and it can, in times of need or stress, it can point you in the right direction. It can keep you away from dangerous situations sometimes. So, that's why we like to encourage people to use their intuition. We're here to guide and help, but also we hope that when we give you these messages, maybe it doesn't always resonate, but it will click something, it will make something else click with you, and you'll think about it more. And other thoughts will come into your head that make more sense.
You guys are a hoot in the chat room there. You are a real hoot. Maybe it could be 6 weeks.
Maybe.
We don't.
But I will say, when I look at the cards, I think about the energies of the cards, and the Pentacles are kind of a slow-moving card. The Wands would be fast. The Cups, maybe. The swords a little less again, and then the pentacles the most.
Well, the other thing too is that if that I was thinking in terms of seasons,
Oh, that's
because you
true.
can do that, then to me the pentacles represent winter, whereas the wands represent spring. And so this could be saying
Late winter.
we have a request for a reading.
Oh.
This could be in winter.
Oh, hi. We have a few minutes left. We could get in a short reading for you,
Yeah,
Mystic
we got
Dreamer.
10 minutes, so go ahead and shoot, Mystic Dreamer. We're ready to give you a reading. That's a good observation about the Queen of Pentacles. To me, I sort of find her energies are more spring or summery because it's about growth, but I also feel too that it's also about what you've harvested, what she has harvested, and that would mean more like fall harvest time.
Mystic Dreamer, do you have a particular question in mind that you would like us to pull the cards for? Or are you just looking for a general reading?
Is R your soulmate?
Okay.
Very good. Thank you for joining us. We
Yes,
are
absolutely.
here twice a week from 7 to 9 on Thursday nights Eastern Standard Time and also on Sundays from 2 to 4. So
Occasionally on Sundays, we will appear 7 to 9 because one of us works Sundays once a month. So when that comes up, we'll try to let people know.
Alrighty, so
You can get information from us from various sources. We're on Facebook and Twitter. Do you want to do a yes, no on this? And I'm going to check my other spreads out for
okay,
another.
but I'm going to have you back together the cut.
Okay, I can do
Once I cut
that.
them, is our Mystic Dreamer soulmate. Right off the top of my head, I think that R could be your soulmate, but if they're not your soulmate, I think there's somebody that's very important in your life that they provide.
What was I supposed to do?
I put it back together.
That's okay. So you want me to do the yes,
The
no?
count, yeah.
Okay.
They may be providing you with some sort of foundation for growth. Oh, they wanted to choose the cards. Well, not this time. Oh, now we have you guys working with us. We're going to have to make a screen that says, and Smiling Soul and LS.
6 tarot readers are better than one. Oh, wow. Wait a minute. I want to make sure I counted these right.
We're getting a little carried away here in the final moments of our reading. Mystic Dreamer, we've been having fun because we have actually found a way to get our audience to help us with the reading. So that's what Smiling Soul and Ellis were referring to. Something I had been thinking about for a little while. Well, this is highly interesting. I'm wondering if maybe we just weren't concentrating.
Well, we've got a possibility of no, but let me put it to you this way, Mystic Dreamer.
The fifth reader's the cat.
But let me put it to you this way. It is not a bad no, and it leaves me thinking the door is open for it possibly being a yes. You've got some very powerful cards here that he is about to show you.
Now, this reading is a reading that looks for 3 aces in no more than 39 cards, and you spread them out in a different way, and if you find an ace, you move to another pile, that kind of thing. I'm not going to explain the whole logistics, but you only had 1 ace, which normally would mean it's a smaller chance of yes, or it's not as likely to be yes.
But
however, we see this card, the Lovers. And the Lovers, of course, is pretty much what it says. Usually it's about a choice. So
choices and decisions, and
you're the one with the choice. You're the one who makes the choice. So maybe if the potential's there, you're the one that makes that choice. But another card that's actually pretty cool in this reading too is the Page of Cups. And the Page of Cups is a mystical person, a poetic person, a dreamy person. They may be intuitive, they may sense things, or they may just have a poetic vision of life that, you know, life is a poem. There's nothing more beautiful than a poem in a way.
very watery card. I would also suggest to you that maybe the connection, maybe there is a connection between the two of you, but there's just not.
Okay, so you're saying that maybe this is R and you've identified her as her. Do you think they're like a water sign, like Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio? I sort of feel that energy there.
Now I lost that train of thought.
I'm sorry.
No, yeah, well, it's okay.
So, in essence, the answer is not incredibly yes, but maybe. It may be kind of like a toss up. Like, this is something that.
I think it's going to need time to develop that. I know soulmates are usually an instant connection, but
That's love at first sight, dear.
but soulmates have something that pulls them to each other, I believe, too. And I think in this case,
That's true.
I think in this case that maybe that connection has not been firmly established yet between the two of you, that real deep connection. And let me just try something else here with you, Mystic Dreamer.
Besides tarot, we do some other divination devices, and Banshee here is very down with the.
She is air water. Okay, so that's that card. Yeah.
Banshee is pretty good with the Lenormand, which are an older form of fortune telling too.
Okay, so the Lenormand cards I pulled is the bouquet and gentleman, which could just mean masculine energies of some sort. We try to not gender specific anymore per se, but I would say that there is a gift coming. It seems as though this relationship is a gift to you, to both of you. That's what I'm feeling from this card, because the bouquet is about receiving something and being given something of beauty. And I feel that the relationship is definitely a positive thing for you.
Yes, I am not a reader of the Lenormand, so sometimes I just go with what the symbols may be saying to me. And what I feel is that this person, whether it's reality or not, whether it's you or whether it's R, is giving and receiving. I see the heart there, and I just sort of feel that this represents the open-hearted nature of you or the other person. And the gift, of course, is as Banshee says. I was trying to read that as you were writing that. Do you know what they're saying there?
No, I can't read that one word, so I'm not sure what you meant, Mystic Dreamer.
Engaged?
Oh, engaged, maybe? Engaged that already?
The idea of gifting to each other.
Well, I just feel that the relationship itself is a gift. That's the way I feel about these cards. And that certainly you have a lot to build upon here, and there may be something more to it. I'm not going to go the soulmate route per se, but I think you have a very closeness with this person, or you will develop one.
Well, I'm going to pull one final card, and I do this just from the psychic, just to try to get a sense. So I'm going to think of your question again. Is R your soulmate? You know what? Ellis, you may tell me which card to pull. A number between 1 and 20. Are you there, Ellis?
She's probably hiding now.
Between 1 and 20, inclusive of either of those. Yeah, I know. I'm really going for being different here, but.
Yep, 1 and 20.
All
18.
right.
Which also numerologically breaks down to 9, Ellis.
I've already gone beyond 6. Sorry, it's going to be 18 because when you said 6, I had already been up to 10. So
You got it?
I might go back to the 6th card just because. I don't know. Okay. This was the final card, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
You said so.
yeah, well, this is not a great way to end necessarily. I sort of get the feeling like maybe there's some ups and down quality here. Oh, Mystic Dreamer, you fit in well with us. I get the feeling with this card, this may be saying that there's some ups and downs in this situation that's going on, so that maybe there have been times where you really felt for yourself that you were a soulmate, and then there were other times where you weren't sure, or maybe you felt there was something else going on altogether. No?
Oh,
Didn't you want to add?
of course, if you're letting me now. Yes, I think that, remember that keep everything in perspective. Don't get carried away. Don't let yourself be overwhelmed with the feelings from this relationship, and let it develop in a natural, even way. Because I sense there could be some excess going on here, maybe excessive infatuation on somebody's part. And so don't let that interfere with the start of a really, wonderful relationship.
Okay, this is the 6th card that Alice backtracked us to. So we are going to see what this is. Oh, it's a reverse 10 of coins.
Well, I'm going to let you handle that one because
Well-
you're drawing too many cards.
Yeah, too many cards. We're already over time, but that's okay. Gee, I get the feeling like, is there a family involved here? Like, is there somebody in a family? I'm not saying like Romeo and Juliet, but like maybe somebody who doesn't totally agree with the situation, or somebody else who has different ideas here, because I'm getting a sense of that a little bit. It could also mean that maybe there are some hardships that are of note in this kind of a relationship, that maybe there are things that actually do have to be worked on, surmounted. One of the things is that there could be a question of, I know, I wish you had stuck with 18 too, but I'm reading them both. They're both there. So one is,
It's on him.
is the idea that maybe there's some ups and downs in the relationship, but the other one is that maybe there's something that doesn't add solidity. I'm not sure why I'm saying it, but something that works against it, that maybe is more in the nature of either other people interfering, or other people using money in some form or the threat of money to keep. I'm not really sure what I'm saying there. So
I think you did fine. I think that the interference factor is the important part. But I would just stick with my previous thoughts that I really do believe there is something substantial here, and it needs to develop in its own time and shape, and not to maybe push it too far, too fast, too soon.
So I hope that gives you a little bit of insight, Mystic Dreamer. You are more than welcome to come back again.
Well, I think you mentioned you're a subscriber, and if that's true, a new subscriber. Thank you very much. And we will be here again on Sunday, live at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 4. And we'll be doing free readings again. And I will be bringing up past lives at the next tarot for today. So stay tuned.
We want to thank everybody again for coming here. This was a lot of fun tonight, and
Definitely.
I think we definitely have some cool ideas about involving our audience with more helping us.
Just in the
But there's
appropriate
no pay
manner.
for you guys. There's no pay for us. Good night.
Have a good one. We'll see you soon. Cut it off.